Street sign!
On August 29th, 2021, I would find myself in the path, yet again, of a major hurricane taking aim on the Louisiana coastline. Hurricane Ida made landfall near Port Fourchon, Louisiana as a Category 4 hurricane with 150 mile-per-hour winds on the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Here is my Storm Chaser story. Louisiana is the 19th smallest state by area in the United States, with 397 miles of coastline along the beautiful Gulf of Mexico. Much of Louisiana's land was formed by sediments washed down by the Mississippi River, with the southern part of Louisiana dominated by vast coastal marsh and swamp. Sitting on the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana is no stranger to hurricanes, and with that, has a history of deadly hurricanes hitting its coast. Just since 2000, there have been at least 28 tropical cyclones that hit the state, with the deadliest being Hurricane Katrina in 2005. My pursuit of Hurricane Ida began on August 28th, the day prior to landfall. Traveling by plane into New Orleans, the vast amounts of swamp and coastal marsh was the first sign that I was in Hurricane Alley. The airport was littered with people evacuating New Orleans, and there was a 4 hours long wait just to get my rental car that I had reserved. But after 4 long hours, the pursuit was on down to the coast. My first stop, Morgan City, Louisiana, initially in the path of the eye and where I would spend the night prior to landfall, stocking up on plenty to eat and drink before power would surely go out in the area.
But I'm here in Morgan City, Louisiana, not Iowa. Morgan City, Louisiana, chasing Hurricane Ida, which could be a major hurricane here tomorrow. It's expected to make landfall sometime tomorrow, late afternoon into the evening. It's 8:41 p.m. here, August 28th. It's the night before Hurricane Ida makes landfall. Here, and I've got all my gear laid out. Got multiple cell phones. Here's one cell phone. Got my dash cam set up here with the live view unit, 360 GoPro, multiple dash cam mounts here, another phone, a GoPro, regular GoPro, a phone mount, live view Wi-Fi unit, flashlight, batteries, Nintendo Switch for playing Mario Golf when I'm bored. Got the drone, Fuji camera, tripod, extra clothes, dry clothes, towels. I always bring towels because it's so wet when you're chasing hurricanes. Plenty of water here. Go bag in case I need to go mobile. Trauma pack for me or for anyone I come across. Stop bleeding fast. The ability to filter dirty water up to 100,000 gallons from this little unit.
By morning on the 29th, the forecasted day of landfall, it became obvious that Morgan City, Louisiana would not be in the eye or the eyewall of dangerous Hurricane Ida. With my goal being to get into the most dangerous part of the storm, I would need to adjust my target location to the east, and I would need to scout out a location as Hurricane Ida was quickly approaching the Louisiana coast.
This is Storm Chaser Aaron Jayjack, and I'm currently here in Thibodaux, Louisiana, in the path of dangerous Category 4 Hurricane Ida, which does look like it's continuing to intensify as it approaches the Louisiana coast. There's even the chance it could go Cat 5, but we'll see. That's still to be determined. But as you can see, we're starting to get daylight here, starting to rain. Some of these outer bands of the hurricane are starting to approach their way here onto the Louisiana coast, and it does look like this area, Thibodaux, points to the east, northeast, towards New Orleans. Could still even shift more to the west, back towards Morgan City, but it's looking like it'll cross somewhere around here, maybe a little bit to the east. So I'm monitoring the situation here on the Louisiana coast. It's currently
Further to the south of Thibodaux, on the other side of US 90, approximately 30 miles closer to the coast, is Homa. This looked like a good place to most likely intercept Hurricane Ida, as it was currently on the western side of the forecasted path of the eye. This would be my next stop to scout. In Homa, I would find a parking garage, a safe haven in a hurricane, the ability to retreat upwards from flooding waters of surge, and protection from wind-thrown debris.
I got half a pepperoni still.
It was now time to scout the surrounding area to get a lay of the land, look for exit routes to maneuver into the eye if needed, and I was also watching radar to hone in on where that eye would exactly make landfall.
Here's like a main street here or something. Some stoplights and stuff. It's gonna be a big storm, you guys.
As conditions continued to deteriorate through the morning, extreme wind warnings started being issued for Homa and surrounding areas. An extreme wind warning is an alert issued by the National Weather Service for areas that will experience sustained surface winds of 115 miles per hour or greater within 1 hour due to a landfalling hurricane.
Category 4, Hurricane Ida. We have extreme wind warnings have been issued here, and the winds are already starting to pick up. Definitely tropical storm force winds. I expect in the next hour we should start seeing those hurricane force winds as the outer eye wall of dangerous Category 4 Hurricane Ida makes its approach here, to its final approach here into Louisiana. I just got a little bit of gas topped off the tank, but I expect power will be out here in the next 2 hours from now. All the power will probably be out here. We've already started to see a little bit of street flooding here. I was watching the cars drive through here. So it's already starting to flood a little bit here, but I believe that's purely from rain. The streets are quite empty. People are getting out of here. This could be one of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall here in Louisiana. Picking off the camera. In Louisiana. Empty streets. You can see this bridge here. We're going to start losing sight of this bridge here that goes further south towards the coast. And we have Hurricane Ida making its way this way, from this direction here, out this way. Winds starting to wrap in from the northeast. Low-level clouds ripping across the sky here, and this is just the beginning. This is very minor right now. This is tropical storm force right here, so really nothing at all. And I expect things are going to be really bad here in Homa, Louisiana. I have a safe location to hide out in. Debris just hit the car.
Homa was now in the path of the eye of Hurricane Ida, but I was still concerned I may need to eventually move east or south due to the wobble in the path of the storm. Limited options were available to my east.
Woo! Oh, well, biggest gust yet. Wow. Wow. It's getting more. Look at that vortex eagle ripping through, spinning through the buildings. Holy crap. Street sign.
To my east lies swampland and coastal marshes, along with 3 little towns on Louisiana Highway 1, a spur off of US 90. The 3 towns are Raceland, Matthews, and then Lockport, running from north to south along Highway 1. Highway 1 runs all the way down to the coast of Port Fourchon, where Ida officially made landfall.
It's gonna miss to the south, or to the east. I'm gonna miss it to the east.
Street signs. Plywood and other building materials were now flying violently through the air. I would document Homa being ripped apart, but also keeping an eye on radar. It was looking more and more likely that I would need to make an adjustment to the east through the eyewall in US 90 in order to get into the eye of Hurricane Ida.
Can't get through. I'm gonna drive over this shit. I'm gonna back up.
Lots of electrical poles and lines were down across the town. Debris from trees and buildings littered the road. I had one route out of town, and that would get me closer to and into the eye of Ida, and that's US 90 that runs to the northeast towards Matthews, Louisiana.
Can't tell if I can get around it or not. I'm just gonna blast it. Blast it out of the way.
Driving over down tree limbs, dodging debris, and bracing myself through bouts of major hurricane wind onslaught, I slowly made myself through whiteout conditions towards the eye of Ida.
Pointing into the wind. This is the eye of Hurricane Ida. Matthews, Louisiana just grinded through the western eyewall.
As the sky began to brighten up, it was clear that I was getting closer to the eye of Ida. Slowly the winds began to die down. I found birds unable to fly, resting themselves on the ground in the median of the road. Eventually, the eye of Ida became calm and I could see that much of Matthews was heavily damaged. What felt like an hour, just hanging out inside the eye of Ida, I took the time to decompress, catch my breath, meditate on what I had just seen and done.
Of the hurricane approaching here, on its way here. Should get crazy here again in a bit.
As Ida continued to move on towards New Orleans, I began to make my way back to the west to Morgan City, to my hotel, my safe spot, along with a Waffle House next to it. Interestingly though, this Waffle House had closed down, a true testament of the expected strength and impact that Ida would have, as Waffle Houses rarely close their doors. Power was out in Morgan City, and accordingly at the hotel and Waffle House as well.
Waffle House is opening up here in an hour in Morgan City. The crew has arrived. View from Waffle House, the only place open in town, probably for 100 miles. This is a great place to get food when you're on a hurricane chase. Power's out, cell phones are out. Limited menu here. I got a sausage. Waffle House.
After getting some breakfast at Waffle House, it was time to head back into the damage path, into Homa and Matthews. The scene in Homa was surprising to me. It had been hit hard while I was there, but after I left, as the storm pivoted from a northwest trajectory to north and then to the northeast, Homa was left in the intense western eyewall winds for a prolonged time. The damage was much worse there than it was when I made my run into the eye near Matthews.
Here in Homa, Louisiana, where I rode the hurricane out for part of the hurricane before making a dash east into the eye. But as you can see here, there's lots of damage here in Homa. I was right in this area yesterday during the hurricane, right in this intersection, right down the way here, riding out the storm for a good while. Lots of sheet metal, street signs and stuff were flying in. But as I made my run to the eye, things looks like the hurricane kind of did a pivot right here over Homa, leaving Homa on that western eyewall. Just continued to pound here, destroying buildings, lots of debris flying here. You see mostly sheet metal here, and then it hits windows and breaks windows, and then it wind's able to then breach these buildings and then further destroy them. These are pretty sturdy buildings here, but there were some smaller ones back this way that were greatly damaged from because of the windows being blasted out.
Hurricane Ida would not be done causing trouble with its landfall on the Gulf Coast. It would continue on to the northeast, causing tornadoes and extreme flooding on the east coast before finally going back out to sea.
Jet and I are just here doing some work on the latest webisode on Hurricane Ida in New Orleans, and Jet's helping me out. And we got the laptop up here. What do you think, Bubba? You think it's a good script? We got a good script. Say hi to the YouTube family. Hey, guys. All right, back to work.